Secretary Sue, it's an honor to have you on the Katie Phang Show. Look, we're a month ahead of what might be the most consequential election in the modern era, and we've received what I think is a different kind of October surprise. Economic numbers that have smashed all expectations. Share with our viewers what's played into this major bump in jobs and wages.
Katie, thank you so much for having me. So we are seeing a historic economic recovery. Just to put it in context, let's remember where we were just 4 years ago, October 2020, right? Kids were going back to school, but for them it was back to Zoom. Why? Because we had a president in office who was not only denying that a global pandemic was taking place, but was trying to place the responsibility on anyone but himself to address it. Fast forward to today, we now have 254,000 jobs last month, as you reported, which brings the total under President Biden and Vice President Harris to over 16 million jobs created. That's the most in that same time period under any administration. The unemployment rate, many people predicted it would take years to get to 4%. We've now had at, near, or below 4% for the longest stretch since Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon. So this is a very strong economy by all measures, and it doesn't happen by accident. Leadership matters, and the investments of this administration, the commitment of this administration to the American people and to putting workers first has been a game changer.
So we've said inflation's down. The GDP is up to 3%. Unemployment is down. Wages are up. Why, though? Because this is frustrating, because when we see the hard and fast objective metrics, it gets a little frustrating for me because analysts still talk about an impending recession. But more importantly, I think Americans, everyday Americans, Secretary, they want to know, when do I feel the effect or the impact of these good numbers?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is that I am traveling the country, and when I talk to people, people are feeling it, right? We're starting to see in surveys, people say, well, my economic situation feels okay, but the economy as a whole is still a problem. And I think that goes back to something that you've suggested too. Some people feel like it benefits them, politically or otherwise, to say that everything is bad, nothing is going right. And the reality is the numbers show something different, but also when you travel the country, people are getting jobs that did not exist a few years ago. There are communities where factories are being reopened that were closed in the last administration, and that means more people working, more security for families, more communities being uplifted, because a good job is just so key. And another part of that is when you have an administration who cares about working people, who are willing to stand by working people and fight for them, it's not just that the economy does well, it's that people who've been at the bottom for too long get to share in that. And that's some of what we're seeing. I get the privilege of getting to talk to people about it, but I think that the politics of our time make it hard for those stories to break through.
You should actually take a lap because you did some really hard and good work alongside Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg in ending the port strike before it had any major consequences on Americans. Can you share with us maybe a little peek behind the curtain on how this deal got across the finish line? I read something that you said which really kind of resonated, because this really dealt with wage increases for the dock workers, but a fear about automation, the idea that their jobs are going to be replaced by machines. And you said, notably, machines don't have families. So this deal is a tentative one that gets us into January of 2025. But, you know, what kind of went into play to make sure that Americans were not going to be negatively impacted by this strike?
So this is proof positive that collective bargaining works. Collective bargaining means that workers have a real voice at the table. Unions can come and sit down with employers and say, look, this is what we need, right? This is what this workplace should look like. This is what it would take to ensure that when we do well, everybody does well. And that's what happened here. You know, I salute the ILA, their president, President Harold Daggett, the workers who put themselves, their bodies on the line to say that we deserve a share of the billions of dollars in profits that have been made in this industry. Let's keep in mind the last contract, the contract that just expired for these workers, was signed in 2018. Again, it was the last administration. The economy was very different back then. It was not as strong as it is now. Today, the shipping carriers have made 100% profit, some of them many times that. And so when there's so much prosperity, when the whole pie has gotten bigger because the economy is strong, working people deserve a piece of that. And that's what we we saw here. The workers are going to get a historic wage increase. These are jobs that are difficult, sometimes dangerous, but they've been a good, honest living for people for a long time. And we just want to make sure that they remain a good, honest living. So I was proud to stand alongside the union and to help get to this point where now the ports are humming again and the parties will come back to the table to talk about other issues, including the one you raised, Katie, automation.
Another great accomplishment for the Biden-Harris administration for everyday Americans. Acting Secretary Julie Su, again, it was an honor to have you on the show. Thanks for being here this morning.